And Jon Rahm with a chance to be the #1 player in the world at Torrey Pines, maybe his favorite place on the planet. You've covered him, though, since college. We're seeing this dominance now, but what do you recall from his amateur days?
Yeah, you go back 10, 11 years ago, a youngster from Spain speaks no English, goes to Arizona State, and I remember Tim Mickelson, then the coach for the Sun Devils, sharing the story with me. We knew he was good. We knew he could play golf, but how would the transition go in the classroom, picking up the language? We heard the stories that he basically taught himself English, listening to music, listening to rap music. But I always remember a story Tim shared with me a few years ago that about a semester in, he was ready to pull the plug on the Jon Rahm experiment, if you will. Not because he wasn't a great kid or he could play golf. He just didn't know when they were talking, was he comprehended it? And that's no disrespect to Jon Rahm. Think if you and I went to a foreign country trying to understand the language. Ultimately, Tim said, I think we can make this work. You look at what he did at Arizona State, what he did in college golf. We knew he was good. We knew he could be special. We maybe just didn't know how special until a conversation I had with Phil Mickelson about 7 years ago at the Houston Open. You keep hearing, you see, I saw just how good he could be. And I remember clearly asking Phil, how good will Jon Rahm be? He said, he's not going to be good. He's going to be great. He's going to be a top 10 player in the world within a year. He'll be a major champion, and he'll be a fixture on the European Ryder Cup teams for decades. Phil Mickelson was absolutely correct in every scenario there. You always take people's thoughts, advice, counsel with a grain of salt, but the lack of hesitation from Phil and others really around Jon Rahm spoke to just the belief they had in his ability as a player. And hard to argue with what we've seen in 6+ years as a pro.
No doubt. Could have thought it was just school pride talking from Phil Mickelson. But make no mistake, he has been dominant at stretches of his career, including right now on the PGA Tour and around the world. There's a relentlessness to his golf and to his being, almost an inevitability that Jon Rahm is going to find a way to the top of the leaderboard by hook or by crook. There's a feistiness to his persona and his being. We see it on the golf course. Sometimes it goes to his detriment. We see it in the media center, where he kind of pushes back against questions about anything to do with negativity, saying in the California desert, let's keep it positive. He wants his voice to carry as much weight as Rory McIlroy in terms of how the PGA Tour is going to set its schedule with these designated events. You know, sitting in the Masters last year and being asked about, you know, how much have you leaned on Tiger Woods and his knowledge, and saying, you know, Tiger doesn't tell me anything. You know, once you ask JT gets all of the nuggets, and not, you know, not saying that with a smile on his face, but a little bit of an edge about it. I think there is just a discomfort with anything less than victory and greatness. He compares himself to Tiger and Seve and Jack Nicklaus in terms of knowing what those great men have done in golf, and he believes those things are available to him as well.
Yeah, he's willing to take on the criticism, to embrace the uncomfortable situation, to say, you know what, I'm here, I'm good, here are my thoughts. A couple other things just popped into my mind. When he turned professional and you start testing all the equipment with the manufacturers, a particular company's rep said, I just worked with a young man that has done things that maybe only 2 or 3 players have ever done in terms of shot shape, speed. That person was Jon Rahm. And I go back to Kapalua a year ago when I interviewed him each and every day. He was right in the mix. And he gave me some grief because he hadn't played for 3 months since the Ryder Cup. And I said, how surprised are you that with all that time off from competitive golf that you are where you are on the leaderboard? He said, do you think I'm at home sitting around doing nothing for 3 months? And he sort of said, I got to give you the needle a little bit. Everyone thinks just because I'm not playing in a tour event or somewhere around the world that I'm not working on my game. Here's somebody that, as you said, he wants to be great. He wants to be the best. And wasn't it just a few years ago we seemingly would say, oh, his emotions, his attitude, that's going to be his downfall. He's sort of stayed true to himself. He's got those moments, and maybe he's refined it a little bit in wearing those emotions on his sleeve. But Jon Rahm right now is showing everybody this could be a huge, enormous 2023 for him.
One thing Pat Riley, the great Lakers Knicks Heat coach, used to say is greatness is greedy, that winning begets more winning. And we've seen that on the PGA Tour with players from time to time. I'm talking about legends of the game that win back-to-back, win consecutive starts. I mean, Tiger did it forever. Rory McIlroy has won consecutively on the PGA Tour. You think about Justin Thomas in 2017 starting his year, winning 2 events in Hawaii and then going on to win a PGA championship later in 2017. So sometimes these consecutive starts and consecutive victories can lead to greater things. I remember 1992, Fred Couples winning in Los Angeles and Bay Hill, setting the table for him to win the Masters in 1992. So you have to circle Jon Rahm and think right now he is and should be the odds-on favorite to put on a green jacket in a few months' time.
Oh, and by the way, he's going to one of his favorite golf courses
How about
this week.
that?
We'll jump into that a little bit deeper on golf today, but I get excited when one of the world's best makes an emphatic statement to kick off the year to say, come and get me, boys, and we know there are a handful that can.
Nothing better than the best players in the world kind of throwing their weight around the world of golf. All right, folks, take a look at the Comcast Business Tour Top 10. With his win on Sunday, Jon Rahm earns 500 points to move from number 4 to number 1 in the standings, claiming that top spot, by the way, for the first time in his career. And the reason this is so important, since 2009, every player who finished in the Comcast Business Tour Top 10 has made it to the Tour Championship at East Lake. So if players finish in the top 10, odds are they're going to make it to the Tour Championship.